What is going on, guys? It's your boy Reconjack, bringing you my Red Season 6 draft analysis. Now, before I hop into this, I did not prep any fancy slides. There's going to be no transitions. It's just this overloaded picture that you'll be looking at the whole time. So if you want to click off screen and let my voice drone on in the background while you surf the web, feel free to do so. But now that we've got that out of the way, it's time to talk about the team that I drafted. And in no particular order, the Mons that I grabbed for this season are going to be Latios, Ferrothorn, Rabombi, Lycanroc Dusk, Skuntank, Raichu, Mega Bayonet, Infernape, Manaphy, Mamoswine, and Braviary. You're going to see some returning members. Obviously, the Mega Bayonet being, I think, the most important one and what helped me shape my team. It's just a tier 3 Mon with great utility that I like to use from time to time. I'm not necessarily going to be bringing it every week, but for a tier 3 Mega, I think that it's a value pick and it lets me utilize my free picks the best way that I know how to do. So we're going to be picking that guy up again. But let's I'm not going to talk about each Mon super in depth individually, but I do want to hit some wave tops here. So let's attack my speed tier first. So I have kind of like a wonky speed tier with Rabombi being my fastest Mon with a base 124 speed, and then there's 3 Mons after that that all have base 110 speed, those being Latios, Lycanroc Dusk, and Raichu. And then that's followed by Infernape at base 108, Manaphy at base 110. And then it drops down to Skuntank from 100 to 84. And then that's followed by Mamoswine and Braviary at base 80, and then drops all the way down to Ferrothorn at 20. So kind of a bit of a weird situation I've got going on. So normally you want to have like a decent spread of speed tiers so that your opponents either have to you have to decide which nature they want to run on their Mons. Do they want it to be more offensive, more defensive, or do they want to have that speed so that they can outpace whatever you might bring? But with a lot of Mons with a pretty high speed tier, I feel like my opponents will be able to bring more bulkier things than usual. So things that I might normally OHKO if they were just running speed, they might be taking 1 or 2 more hits than I'd expect them to. So I know that I'm gonna have to be careful of that. But other than my speed tiers, I mean, honestly, I do like having a lot of fast Mons. I think Trick Room is gonna fuck me up a little bit, but I do have the ability to reverse Trick Room, so that's nice. But let's move on to some other things. I do have a lot of hazards with the Mons that I drafted. Obviously, Ferrothorn is going to give me access to spikes and rocks. Lycanroc gives me rocks. Infernape can give me rocks. Will I use a bulkier Stealth Rock Infernape? I might. It's not my flavor, but I might. And then obviously Mamoswine gives me rocks as well. I also have webs with Rabombi, which is Sticky Webs is a move that Rabombi picked up in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and I think that is going to be amazing for my team, especially my wall breakers. I'm looking at Mamoswine when I say that, and I also think it's going to allow Manaphy to set up easier instead of having to eat a hit, then set up, and then eat another hit before it can attack. It's going to have that chance to outpace whatever it's facing down. And like, as everyone knows, Manaphy is a scary Mon once it's set up a Tail Glow. So the sticky webs just allow me to um, do that a little bit easier. I don't have to rely on something like Z Rain Dance, which, by the way, Manaphy is going to be my Z captain for the team, but we're kind of getting away from what I wanted to talk about. I do have 4 defog users in Latios, Rabombi, Skuntank, and actually I think, oh, and Braviary, sorry. And unfortunately I don't have a spinner. And that could pose a problem, especially because I want to be hazard stacking and I don't want to be clearing my own hazards. But when I look at my team isn't hazard weak. It does have some key mons I'd like to avoid damage from hazards as much as possible, but I feel like I'm comfortable defogging and then setting up my hazards or resetting up my hazards. Something else of note, and one of the reasons why I chose it, Braviary has the ability to Defiant. So because I have so many hazards, people especially love to defog webs. They love to defog webs. As soon as they see webs, they get it in their mind that they have to defog them. So I think Braviary is going to be able to abuse that Defiant ability to the fullest, and I fully expect it to do so. Now, I also have a lot of priority on my team, which I think you can never have too much priority. I have Lycanroc with Cell Rock. I have Skuntank with Sucker Punch. I have Infernape with Mach Punch, and I believe Vacuum Wave as well. And I have Mamoswine with Ice Shard. And I think those, having 4 members with access to priority is going to open up a lot of possibilities when it comes to if I'm in a pinch and I need to sack a Mon and then revenge it with some form of priority. That's gonna be easier to do, and also just to pick off weakened Mons and threaten out some stuff. I think that's going to be extremely useful for me. And I obviously hit the big wickets when it comes to typing. So I have my Fairy Dragon Steel Core in Latios, Ferrothorn, and Arbombi. I have my Firewater Grass Core in Infernape, Manaphy, and Ferrothorn. Something worth mentioning is Ferrothorn and Arbombi do share common weakness in fire, but I do feel like that's covered fairly well by quite a few Mons that I have. So I'm not too worried about that fire weakness. Then outside of those cores, I also have a poison type to soak up toxic spikes. I have a dark type, actually happens to be the same Pokemon, Skuntank, so that sidekicks can't just spam their stab moves against me. I have Electric Immunity in both Raichu and Mamoswine, and I have a Ghost Immunity in Braviary, and a Fighting Immunity in Mega Bayonet. So I think I hit all the big wickets when it comes to typing. Something I was worried about while I was drafting was my lack of a response to ground type. So that's another reason why I picked up Braviary, because at the time I only had Latios with Levitate, and everything else was getting hit by EQs, and my one resist being Arbombi was frail. It's not a good answer to an Earthquake. So I do now have Braviary and Latios, but I am still going to have to be careful when it comes to dealing with those ground type attacks. Let's talk a little bit about my offensive presence, because that is what I'm most excited about. We obviously have Latios with the ability to set up with Dragon Dance and or Calm Minds. It's just going to be dropping Dracos, hitting hard, stab sidekicks. It's got a lot of good coverage. Always Always a fan of using Latios. For Bombi, I think that I'm going to be able to use a Quiver Dance set, um, quite often actually, especially because it can roost up. Um, Although it is frail before it gets that boost, once it gets a Quiver Dance or two up, it's going to be hard to take down, and then it's going to be hitting extremely hard as well. So it might not even be packing webs, or it might be packing webs and Quiver Dance and like stab, or stab and coverage. I think Rabumi is going to be a really cool mon. Lycanroc Dusk, obviously, that can set up as well. Raichu can also set up with Nasty Plot, and it has some pretty good coverage in stuff like Focus Blast and stuff like Surf. On Fernape, that's a mixed attacker. I love mixed attackers. I think it's incredibly important to have mixed attackers on a team, and Infernape can do both sides of the house perfectly. It can do physical, it can do special, it can set up on physical and set up on special. It's just a great mon. Manaphy has access to Calm Mind. It has Tail Glow. Manaphy's a freaking beast and a half. It has Z Rain Dance to give it that boost in speed. Mammoth is not going to be setting up, but it's going to be hitting like a freaking truck. And then Braviary obviously has those ball clip sets. So I think my ability to really apply offensive pressure is extremely good with this team. Not a lot of shared weaknesses, but a few here and there. Obviously, I have like three mons that are weak to fighting, and then a lot of mons that would typically resist, like my poison type and my flying type, take neutral from fighting. So gonna have to look out for stuff like that. Let's see what else. What more is there to talk about here? Sorry that I'm just kind of droning on right now. I'm just making sure I see everything that I want to talk about. Yeah, there's not much more to say about my team. Well, I guess we can talk about. I do have some good Voltorn core going on. I'm not actually sure if Rabumi gets U-turn. I'll have to look that up, but I do know Raichu gets Volt Switch, Infernape gets U-turn, Manaphy even gets U-turn, and Braviary gets U-turn. So I definitely have access to some initiative-based moves. I feel like that if I get some momentum going with these hazards, with these setup options, with these wall breakers, I'm really going to be able to take advantage of just applying a lot of good pressure on my opponent and hopefully overwhelm him. I do feel like I need to prove myself after last season, and I think that this is the team to do it. I think I drafted a really good team last season. I drafted a very, I'd say, like standard Gen 6 OU team. But standard Smogon isn't necessarily good in draft, or it could be. I could have had a really good draft team, but I just didn't play with it well. And I think that the team that I drafted this season fits my play style so much better, and I think that I'm way more comfortable with the mons that I drafted. I'm very excited to use them. I hope you're excited to watch me play my games. Hopefully I'll be able to get recordings up on time, if at all. I know that these last couple seasons I've promised to upload, and then I upload 1 or 2 games, and that's about it. Unfortunately, that's just kind of like the lifestyle that I have. I don't really know what my schedule looks like all the time, and then I just get really busy. Being in the military, it's hard to even get these matches in. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I do my best to get those done, because I do love this game. I love this format, and I love the people that I play with. So hopefully I'll get these videos out to you guys, but I'm not gonna make any promises. I hope you guys enjoy watching this season. I know I'm going to enjoy playing. And for now, this is Reconjack signing off.